All right.
Here we are back in the park.
Yeah, man. I love it. We're getting closer and closer and closer to summertime.
To summertime.
Just so fun.
It feels amazing.
Yes, it does.
How lucky we are to be here.
Seriously, man, we got it way too good.
Yeah.
You know, every day's a blessing without a doubt. But
Yeah.
man, when the sun is out and there's not so many clouds, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Does it have a good effect on your mood or not? Are you affected by the weather in general?
You know, that is definitely a factor. I like a sunny day without a doubt, because then I can do stuff outside and I don't have to, bundle up all crazy. I don't like being cold, but I do think gloomy days are also very pretty in their own equal way. But I like running and skateboarding and doing stuff outside.
Yeah.
So it is a big motivator for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel if it sounds like a planned day where I want to do some stuff outside and it's like gloomy and like
yeah.
Oh, if I need some energy in the morning, if I feel like a little sleepy and I wake up, it's like maybe like sunny. It's like cool, it energizes me.
You talked about opening your windows up, opening the curtains in the morning, and heck yeah, if it's a nice bright day, that will certainly do it. And I think as it gets hotter and sunnier, I think we all just got to make sure to do, what our parents and what commercials told us to do: put on sunscreen. And seriously, on that kick, man, I've been putting on sunscreen a little bit every day, just making a very big point to do it, even on the gloomy days.
Okay.
Because there were two things that showed me that it makes you actually look a lot younger and age very slowly over time.
Okay.
There was a short on YouTube, and I forget the channel, of course, but it showed the difference between, people who were like teenagers and early 20s from like the 70s and 80s compared to now. And it was wild because they looked like adults. And if you look like even that like camcorder footage from like the high schools and like, I saw like a 1996 last day of school, it was high school. All these people look so old, man. They look like really, really adult. But it's like really, I don't know, man. It's definitely not like how high schoolers look today. I think there's a huge difference. And this one video, a little short, pointed out that two things are sunscreen. I think in the 90s, there's a big push for more sunscreen.
Right. Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
And all the commercials and stuff. And also drinking enough water. I think that's huge. I think
staying hydrated.
Staying hydrated, of course. Yeah. And I don't know how popular bottled water was before my time. Yeah, before our times, but it's definitely unbelievably popular now.
Yes.
Even though, a lot of it's, let's be honest, a lot of it's like, tap water, a lot of just filter water.
Yeah.
But still, nonetheless, you can get bottled water anywhere. And I don't think there was such a big push for water in the earlier days.
Yeah.
And I definitely don't think there was bottled water as often.
Right.
It's more like glass bottles of Coca-Cola.
I have no idea about that. Do you think that speed up the process, the aging process of not being dehydrated?
Yeah, I think the main thing that both of those things affect is the skin.
Yes.
You gotta take care of your skin, not just with like lotions and stuff, which is all good. But diet is important, and on that same kick, eating things with water and drinking water, and that's gonna definitely help a lot. Because I saw like these pictures compared to like people teenagers in the 70s compared to teenagers now, and they look like full blown like 30-year-old, so just because of that difference.
Do you think there's another factor for that happening? Like in my mind, when you tell me that, I feel like somehow it's also the reflection of life, where life was a little bit more a little rougher
Yes.
than now.
There's definitely a lot of factors. There's the crazy.
Like maybe like a more stress.
Yes.
In a way where not a bad stress.
Right.
A stress of life where people would be like, this is how life is, like this way and this way.
Right.
And if there's no, you gotta be part of of your own life. If you're not, you kind of like distracted by things from what we consume on social media and stuff like that.
I feel like you had a lot more responsibility back then, and you had to be more responsible because we have so many things that are automatic now, and just all these convenient things now.
Yeah.
But like if you wanted to make a phone call, you had to go have enough coins and go to a payphone. If you wanted to watch your TV shows, you had to arrive on time for television. Like all of these things.
Like all these things would force people, like kids who were like younger, to be more responsible for themselves.
Right.
In a way, you can grow up faster.
Yes.
Or you become an adult younger.
Right.
Right. In a way, same way like girls would get pregnant earlier. They would have kids earlier.
Right.
Get married around like 20.
Yeah.
That would be that's how you're an adult, and then
you grew up really fast.
And do you think that would have an impact on how people would look like?
It could. I mean, it's a very interesting thing because it all just is about how you handle everything. And if you let the stressful things stress you out, it will definitely, age you a lot. But at the same time, though, those necessary stresses, like you mentioned, they cause you to mentally grow up.
Yes.
A little bit, and that's good. That's a good aging right there. Because I feel like the pros of nowadays is people kind of appear a little bit younger because of the good things like water and sunscreen and more convenient things that just don't stress them out as much. But mentally, they are not growing up. We have a lot of grown-up babies.
Yes.
I will not even call them adults. And a lot of impatience in the world. And you see it on the roads all the time. People getting angry at the slightest little things.
All the time. I was driving by right here like the other day. I think it was yesterday actually. And then I got into a traffic jam.
Right.
And it was like, this is definitely not the road where I want to go to. Was like, and it's gonna take me way too long.
Right.
I decided to do a U-turn, right? To turn around and between all these people and cars all around me. So I did that. And I did quite well in one shot.
Nice.
But that on the other side, this car, I knew you would have like to slow down and stop.
Sure.
So I was like, everybody's like driving slow. And so I'm doing this. And as I finish doing this, I just say thank you to the guy behind me.
You always do the hand wave. Oh, thank you.
Thanks so much, for. And at the same time he does that, I look at him in the mirror. He's like, give me a middle finger.
Oh no!
And I was like, I was in a very good mood too.
Well,
and
of course.
At the same time, I was also like listening to, like we talked about last time, listening to worship music.
There you go. Yeah, man.
So I was feeling good, it was like full of love.
Oh sure, man. Yeah.
And he gives me a middle finger. I was like, I felt bad for him.
Exactly.
I was like, oh.
That's what it comes down to.
I was like, dude, you couldn't wait like 5 seconds?
A few seconds, man.
And you have to like give a very angry response to someone who's not doing maybe the right thing.
Right.
Sometimes you gotta be patient with people. I would, in my position, I would be like, yeah, go ahead, do your thing, man. It's gonna go.
Right.
I'm not late to anything, and even if I'm late,
you can you can compose yourself.
Yeah.
As a decent human being.
So exactly, and then the funny thing is like down the road, he turned the same street as me, and then at some point we got
next to each other. Oh, that's the best.
And I was like, I'm gonna look at this guy, almost like I had my window down, was like, if I can make eye contact, like, love you, bro.
That's
share
the best.
some love.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm sending extra love to you right now.
Exactly. Sure enough, the guy's like looking around, not looking at me,
Of course not.
He looked stressed out and everything.
Yeah.
It was like, best luck, bro.
Yeah, it's like, hey man, more power to you.
So yeah, exactly.
Be a good boy, okay?
So that's that's why I was like, dude, I mean, people like, I think it's a baby reaction.
It really is super immature.
If you're mature about life, you're like, first of all, you're a very patient person.
Yeah.
You become patient. Nobody's very patient first, but you become patient and understand that we all evolve in a way where we all find ourselves in the same situation all the time.
Right.
Sometimes I'm at the traffic light, and it's red. I look at my phone, it goes green. I'm still looking at my phone.
Yeah,
and someone honks on me. Someone honks behind me. I'm like,
hey, my
that's
bad.
Me.
Yeah, my bad. I'll take that one.
So so if it happens in the other way around, I'll be like, if I have to honk, I do it, but I wouldn't be mad at the person.
No, exactly.
It happens to me too.
And I give the grace a couple of seconds. I give okay, 3, 2, 1. Doop.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. And that's it. We're cool. The other people behind me are gonna get a little upset. So this is just my little love tap. And honestly, in Japan, it's illegal. You'll actually get a fine if you lay on the horn.
Oh wow!
Yeah, you have it like a little tap at most.
Wow!
Respect is so enormously high priority there. So
I believe it's maybe not illegal here, but not supposed to.
Yeah, it's probably
not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
To like be angry and just like honk so hard.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's just to signal danger. That's what it's meant for.
That's what it's meant for, exactly. Right? Yeah. It's like you're getting close. Boop, boop.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's exactly true though. I think back then maybe people aged a little bit more, and that could also be because of a lot of cigarette smoking too, the tobacco and all of that. And just the no water mixed with alcohol, a lot of coffee, and cigarettes.
Yeah,
that'll do a number on your skin, your hair, your teeth.
So true. Yeah.
Even your eyes a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think that is that. But people were definitely mentally more mature, and the stresses of just life, it did good for their brain in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
It made them like, okay, I gotta work to do my things.
Yeah.
Everything is so button pushing here. You press one button.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful time to be alive, and we have so many things at our disposal.
Yeah.
But what is a problem is we are just not patient at all.
Yeah.
And
I mean, we know why, right? Constant gratification and having this thing that, living in a such like short span of being focused on something, it just that makes us like very impatient with everything else around.
Yeah. What's especially funny is when people get mad at their phone. It's like, oh, it didn't send a signal to the satellite and back down to you fast enough? That wasn't fast enough for you. 8 seconds wasn't fast enough. You got the little buffering window, and now it's making you mad. Really?
Yeah, I know.
So but truly though, it's amazing how fast everything works and how much work was put into that.
Yeah.
But it's sad what it's done to our...
Yeah.
So we have a lot of impatient, and I have, I'm not any better. I have impatient moments for sure, man. Do you have any ways to combat that? Do you ever take a big breath when you're feeling those feelings rise up?
It's all right. So one thing I did yesterday.
Yeah.
Watched David Goggins.
Yeah.
Talk on I don't know if you know that guy, Elliot. Andy Elliot.
Okay, I don't know by name, but maybe I've heard little clips of it.
I've been following this guy for a minute now. And
okay.
He's big on sales. This guy is amazing. And he got very much influenced by David Goggins for like changing his life around.
Sure.
Becoming someone he really wanted to be.
Yeah.
And then Goggins at some point explained that how much you need to be in the moment to be able to perform and be real. So that way you got to be in the moment, and that's the only way I would say to be like not caught up in reacting so much.
Right.
And just do what you have to do in front of you.
Don't think about in the past, don't think about in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, my input would be meditation. That's I talk about this all the time.
Yeah,
but that's my go-to for giving a direction to your day.
Right.
If you start meditating first thing in the morning, you're just like calmer.
Yes.
You're calmer, and then you take better decisions throughout the day.
Oh yeah.
If you really pay attention to what you do, actions in the day, during the day, you will notice the difference between when you meditate and when you don't.
Right.
And you also create momentum. If you don't meditate for 2 or 3 days, you see how poorly you perform.
There's a big difference.
And how how you react so easily. But if you do meditate, actually, you will just be more in peace with everything around.
Oh yeah, and you gain that control over yourself. I think everything that we talk about and we suggest is just to help people find all different ways to gain control over their lives.
Yeah.
And it's not like you're like grabbing something like get control it.
Yeah.
No, it's like allow it. The control will come to you if you're a vessel that's ready for it.
Yeah.
You know, but if you're stressed out and you're tense and you got, you know, all the stuff going on in your mind and you're not in the present moment, then the control is going to get farther and farther away from you. You're not going to, you don't allow yourself to be in control.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
you really got to work with your mind. You have to work with your mind in a way where you now allow your mind to control you, but you have to be the one to control your mind.
Right.
All the time.
All the time.
All the time. There's not 1 minute or second where you be like, I'm cool.
Right.
Or at least you have to like set a momentum where you do things so consistently with such awareness.
Right.
And being very mindful of of your thoughts and how you think. And to get
you're intentional
about everything, and that requires you to be in the moment.
Yes.
And when you do that, you really just have so much control on your mind, and then you can direct your mind to be like, I want you to do that. I want you to search for this thing. I want you to lead me to that thing that I want to try to reach.
Right.
Or or I want you to bring me the right informations when someone comes at me with negativity.
Yes.
You know, how should I not react? Or just you have 1 second of reaction and then you're good. You can actually,
Right, exactly. But then you got to control it. It's like, hey, don't dwell in that for too long. That's not going to serve you. You know, and I think when things come up, it's a contradiction of our expectations. It's like, we expect to drive somewhere nice and smoothly, just like all the time. So if somebody cuts us off, then it's very easy for that expectation to get obliterated.
Yeah.
We get upset all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But if you do these intentional practices, where this mindfulness, and you just learn how to be in control of things of your mind, be in control of your thoughts and stuff. And if a craving for something, isn't good, or an urge to procrastinate, or just, put things off comes up, don't fight it, but just like say, look, that's fine, that's cute, but we're not going to do that today.
Yeah.
And you gotta be kind of kind to yourself in that way. You don't like be mad at the thoughts that you're having.
Yeah.
But you gotta say, look, I understand why that came in there, because my brain wants to relax and have a nice chill time and not do so much work. But just for today, for this hour, we're gonna do what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
For this 30 minutes, we're gonna be responsible.
Yeah.
And we do have to trick our mind in small pieces like that. I've heard of a thing called the monkey brain.
Yeah.
Where I forgot who was talking about this. Our mind is like, almost like this little kid that just wants to like do whatever it wants to do.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I
know you want to do that, but let's do it later. Let's just be good now.
Yeah.
And then just keep saying, let's do it. Let's have our fun later. Just push it off.
It's well, you can push it up in an easy way where you have to just create develop the muscles for it.
Right. Exactly.
It's just a little bit of practice, I think, and people just most people are afraid of doing this practice, and because it's hard to like comprehend how it works, because also you only one who can understand how you work.
Right.
Nobody can really get to give you the keys to be like, oh, this is how you should practice your mindset. Everybody's like this, they're different.
Right.
So
but that repetition of just practicing it,
yeah,
there's something
makes everything easier.
Yeah, this is a thing I've been thinking about, and I'll say it in a very simple equation, but then I'll kind of show you what I mean. Repetition equals comfort. And that could be for things that are productive and good. That could be for things that are also not good, you know? But the example I like to think of for repetition is in a lot of different styles of music. Let's just say electronic music, for example, has a lot of elements that are repetitive.
It's very repetitive.
And that's why it's a popular style of music that a lot of people love. It's because, the big parts are going to come up, the little parts are going to be here, and it's all just so cozy and comfortable because it's been like 9 minutes of this, beat that's familiar or what have you. And the same thing for different styles of music, like rock and pop songwriting music. There's a verse and there's a chorus.
Yes.
The chorus usually is the part that's always identically the same, and it's a hook.
Yeah.
It's the part that everyone's kind of excited. Oh, yay, it came back again. I love this part, And then the bridge later on is like this peak that like enhances everything else. It's the climactic point. And then guess what's normally after the bridge? A chorus again. Yay! Yeah. And then the end of the song, oh my gosh. No. So repetition equals comfort in that, and it also is comfortable because let's say we're embarking on some kind of new habit. I'm going to do this workout every morning, and it could be something simple. It starts off as something where you're a little nervous about it, maybe, or it's like, this is kind of a weird thing I'm doing. I don't know if I'm going to even like this, and there's all these thoughts that go in your head.
Yeah.
And as you keep coming back to it, since it's repetition, it eventually becomes something very comfortable, and it feels weird when you don't do it.
Yes.
But repetition for anything is going to build that comfort. And I'll even admit, like the first time we did our first episode of the podcast, I was a little nervous going in. I was like, what if I say something weird?
Yeah.
What if my mind goes blank while I'm talking, or what if I make myself look silly? And now, 6 episodes in, it's like, oh man, I'm so excited for this. I would be so sad if we had to take a week off. Yeah, exactly.
I know.
So, repetition is very good for that. And when you're comfortable doing good things for yourself, whether it's, reading, or it's exercising, or meditating, or eating healthy, man, it's good to be comfortable doing good. That's a good place to be.
Too good.
Too good. It's too good, man.
It's too good. It might be a little dangerous.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it is fun to kind of like keep exploring. Okay, what other good things can we do?
What about repetition of the
of bad habits?
Of discomfort. Of the unfamiliar, meaning that you have to do something new. Oblige yourself to do something new, maybe like once a week or once in a while. That's very that throws you off a little bit,
Sure.
So that the way you develop your ability to adapt yourself to any kind of situation.
Yeah.
That can be like in a sense repetition as well. But you place yourself every time in a different kind of situation.
Dude, I'm gonna have to start doing that, thinking about that. So what you're saying is adding a new habit or a new thing that makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah, something you've never done before.
Right.
Especially something you don't think someone should be doing this.
Right, exactly.
Like, oh, I'm not this kind of person. Well, do that thing.
Right.
See how you react.
Do it, just to see how it is. Yeah. That's a great. Oh my gosh, that's that's next level right there.
That's how I teach.
I love that.
I like to put people in situation that they actually don't like.
Yes.
They be like, I don't want to do this because they either don't think they can do it, or they don't think they are someone who's supposed to do that thing.
Yeah, or they don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
They're not going to want to do it.
Yeah.
think it was Andrew Huberman who said, if you do the things that you specifically know you don't like to do or you don't want to do,
yes,
that's what makes this really big growth happen in your brain.
Yes,
it's specifically that. If you like running and you make yourself run, it's not going to grow that muscle. But if you're someone who hates swimming or leg workouts or whatever, and you directly go into that, it makes your mind expand.
All right, give me one thing you
oh
really
no, why did I do this to myself? Oh my gosh.
Let's get real.
Yeah. Well, I'll probably think of a whole bunch of things all at once, but I'll give you an example.
And everybody like listening to us right now should think of something they really don't want to do or they just actually hate doing.
Yeah.
And then let's see how.
Yeah. What is something you truly don't like, you don't enjoy, and what you can immerse yourself in it.
Yeah.
I don't like being around huge crowds for some reason. Okay. I get a little claustrophobic, which is why I don't really do the whole music festivals or going to big, I've never gone to Coachella, but it's not something that's desirable for me.
Yeah.
But if I put myself out there to go to, big things where I know there's going to be huge amounts of people everywhere, that's going to toughen up my mind.
Yeah.
I think even really early on, as we were starting to do our personal training together, I hated leg exercises. Truly. Like, I did not enjoy them at all, and I know I'm not alone on that. But now it's one of my favorites. Because you just keep putting yourself into that.
How interesting that this is happening a lot to people who think that they don't want to do something because they don't like it.
Yeah.
Or can refuse, they almost put their head in the ground, no, I avoid that thing. I don't want to even think about it.
Right.
But once you get into it and overcome that fear or whatever it is that makes you not,
yeah.
And you
get
realize,
over yourself.
Oh my God, I can do it properly now, and then actually can enjoy it.
Right, exactly. And it's the strangest thing, but it's such a gift.
But that discomfort at first of taking this first step to dive into it and then starting to practice that thing, or whatever situation you put yourself in, it's you got to go past that phase, and then after it feels very rewarding actually.
Right, exactly. You gotta just do it.
Yeah.
And it's almost like the discomfort or the thing, and it's good that we should make lists of things that we just don't like, that are good for ourselves. Don't say I'm gonna hit myself with a hammer, but but things that you are adverse to, you have an aversion to these things that are gonna help not just make you healthier, but help your mind become resilient. Help your mind become tough. And I think truly because of that brand of discipline, you enjoy life more. It's just what it comes down to. You enjoy the experience of a human life exponentially more.
It's like how to destroy an addiction.
Right.
Replace it with something that is very, very uncomfortable for you, and then
learn to love it.
And learn to love it.
Take your darn ego out of it and be like, okay, this is what I do now.
You definitely become someone else when you do that thing that you don't like.
Yes.
After some point you start to like it.
Yeah.
And that person is maybe not a smoker anymore or a drinker, or you know what I'm saying? It just replaces your identity.
Right.
Or make it different from what you were before.
Yes. All right. So here's an equation that I want us to ponder for a little bit, and we welcome any thoughts on this. 3 words: be, do, and have.
All right.
So be, what are you? You could say I'm a musician.
Yeah.
What does a musician do? Well, obviously they play, they practice, they listen, they study, they may teach. And what do you have? You have the joy of sharing your love for something you enjoy, for educating people, for, you know, giving them energy, oddly enough, because I think performing music is an energy exchange, you know, and it's different waves of energy. You know, it could be like high intensity for like heavier, louder music, or it could be songwriter, you know, soft, sometimes like kind of sad stuff. You know, it's different frequencies that you get people on. But you have the joy of sharing your music. You have the joy of connecting with people on an emotional level.
Yeah.
So think about that, you know, and it could be something you want to be. It's like, so for B, I am a athlete. I am a runner. What do? I run, I strength train, I eat healthy, I stay hydrated. I watch videos on how to do my craft better, and you know, I purchase the right products from the gear and all that. And what do I have? I have the ability to run races. I have companionship. I have, you know, you have teams of people and friends you make on the way. You have this sense of accomplishment, you know. So I think it's kind of almost like a triangle. At the top is like B, it's like one thing, like what is it that you are? Blank. What do you do? Okay, these are like 5 or 6 things you do. And then at the bottom of the pyramid or the triangle is have, and you have all this.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what I think about for be, do, and have.
So once you get that, how do you utilize this? Do you use that for a specific thing to like improve yourself, or you try to find things that you want to change?
Yeah. I mean, you can always keep adding more to that list of that one specific thing, but I think, you know, it becomes who you are on an identity level. You have this huge triangle of this thing that you are, your practices that you do for it, and all of the great gifts you've given yourself because of it.
I think this is powerful because I was lately I've been doing something more on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
Is where it's like who I am and what do you want to get?
Right.
What do I want to get? And I'm doing this to find which part of my business should I focus on the most.
Interesting.
Or how should I distribute, you know, my time accordingly to what I want to get in terms of priorities.
Right.
And that's a very powerful, because if I describe who am I, then it comes down to like what do I do? So what can I do maybe better?
Right.
And what do I get from doing these things and maybe doing them better? And
you get a lot.
It gives me a very a great picture of how to position myself, for instance, on the market.
Exactly, because you have this clarity now.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
And you can see, you know, okay, what do I not have that I kind of want more of? You know, that's, you know, you've made that abundantly clear.
Yeah.
But so you can take it on a, you know, grander scale. It's like, you know, B, who are you? You are Will. What does Will do? Okay, this, that, you know, personal training, music.
Yeah.
You know, all the other things you do and your interests and stuff. And what do you have, you know, down for all these columns? As a musician, you have blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
As a trainer, you have, you know, as this person, you have all of that. So it becomes, a spreadsheet, but way better than a spreadsheet, I should say, like this epic diagram. So that's something I would love to see people do and, you know, share in the comments is what's your be, do, and have. Think about it as a smaller scale for your, you know, what are your things that you do, you know, like if you're a musician, if you're an athlete, if you're an author, and then the do and the have for that. But then think about it as the be as your name, and think about the do's as what's your be's. You know, because we're whether we've unlocked this in ourselves or not, we're multi-dimensional beings. And it's a shame to not think that in this lifetime, because we have access to so much knowledge that you can do a lot. You know, and if you can do a lot, you can have a lot. So that's just that's a never-ending gift to ourselves.
Yep.
Be,
That's awesome.
do, and have.
Right on.
Yeah. And on that, you were talking about consistency, which, this is something that's helped me tremendously, is just do things and stay consistent and have low expectations on everything. A lot of people will tell me, well, how long is it going to take before I don't crave cigarettes anymore? How long is it going to take before I have six-pack abs?
Yeah.
What's the timeline? It's like that, even if you give someone an answer, that's not the right question.
Yeah.
That's not the right thing.
Well, it's not, because we see it as a thing, it's too materialistic.
Absolutely.
In the way we understand the concept of it, because once you have abs, you don't keep abs.
Right.
Unless you keep doing the work to have abs.
Exactly.
And that's something that people can forget about. It's like they think like, oh, I'm buying that TV, so I have this TV forever.
Right.
And it's not like that. When you do something that's that deep and real of like a work of like getting in shape or whatever, getting better at something, or getting rid of something, bad habits and stuff like that, it's always going to be around you anyway.
Right.
You got to really transform yourself to make sure you keep doing the right things to get the things you want to get at the first place.
Right.
So once you stop smoking cigarettes, maybe don't hang out too much with people who smoke so many cigarettes,
Yeah.
Stuff like that,
You have to make these permanent changes.
Yeah. And these changes, I think, I think that's why the concept of like, which is so good, because people find a way to trick people to sell stuff. You can get that, but nobody talks about how you do keep that.
Right, exactly.
Right,
it's not quick fix.
It's not like a TV that rests in your living room. It's not here for. It's here for just put it on and it works.
Right.
This is not how it is. But people see it this way somehow. They see it as a product.
Yeah.
That they get, and then once they did the work to get it, they think they deserve it. But by the way, they don't.
No, exactly. Well, you haven't been keeping up on the work on it, so of course you don't deserve it. That's why you don't have it.
Yeah.
So it's exactly true, though. You got to make a lifestyle change, and you got to keep at it all the time.
Yeah.
And anything that you focus on like that it's just going to grow.
Yeah.
And it's such a great thing to have low expectations. Like, don't have expectations, just do the thing. Just shut your monkey mind up.
Yeah.
And just do your things, even if it seems silly. It's like, okay, why do I keep doing this every day? Don't have any expectations, just keep doing it. And it'll almost be like a quantum leap. You wake up one day and you're like, wow, I feel fantastic.
Yeah. It's not as hard. This is not how it works.
Right.
But it does feel that way.
It feels that way.
It feels that way when, well, it actually can work. We're going to rephrase that.
Yeah.
It actually works this way. When you think about it, it can actually happen.
Right.
Most of the time, it doesn't happen this way because people are too attached emotionally to who they are.
Right.
That defines their habits and their actions.
Yeah.
And they respond to emotions most of the time. So.
Oh, big time.
You got to change that.
Yeah.
And then if you change that, you can make that shift that's very quick. But it brings me to a thought that the way, if you really want to do that, you really got to take massive actions.
You got to be tough on yourself, and you got to
and sometimes
say no more.
And I think you're right. Be like being tough on yourself. It brings a bit of violence to it.
Sure.
Like
you're killing off an old part of yourself.
you gotta destroy.
Yeah.
Because that thing's gonna come back and find every way possible to come back and stick around.
Yeah.
That's gonna keep you in the things you are doing that you don't want to do anymore.
Would you say like emotional eating could be one thing, or
100%?
Yeah.
It's for me. It's one of my thing. Sometimes, and I feel it's crazy, but it's so weird. Like I manage my stress by eating too much healthy snacks.
Right.
So, they're healthy, but if I eat too many of them,
it's not so healthy.
It's not healthy anymore.
Yeah,
the same
exactly.
thing. So it's so interesting how your old self always find ways to
kind of try and come back.
Yeah, always try to come
your
back.
Shadow.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's part of like life and part of our identities and stuff is we're always going to have our shadow. We're always going to have our shadow. But just like any good supervillain in any saga, it's like they're not completely dead and gone forever. No. They keep coming back.
No, as long as you're alive, it's
part of you.
It's somewhere in the background.
Yeah.
And if you manage, I think, somehow to kill it, something else is going to replace it.
Right, exactly.
We always have to go towards the light, and that's our job as human being to focus on light as much as we can.
Yeah.
If we cannot recognize light without experiencing darkness.
Right.
So it's here anyway.
Yeah. We have a job. We're the warriors of light, and there's always going to be that darkness. So we have to have our job and have, in a weird way, we have to have the darkness because otherwise,
we need to understand
what is the darkness.
Yeah, exactly. We need to identify darkness.
Yeah.
And most of the time, it's disguised in light.
Yeah, exactly. It's very insidious. Yeah. In addition to emotional eat, I think there's a lot of things that are attached to emotion. And that could also be like this procrastination. You were talking about like fear of changing identity and stuff, fear of changing your be.
Yeah.
It's like we're changing our dues.
Yeah.
And that could be frightening for our old be.
Mm-hmm. It is a threat.
Yeah, it is a threat.
It's a death of something.
Yes.
So anything our brain is here to protect us from death.
And you're going to get,
any way possible.
Yeah, and it's rightfully so because you're going to get pushback from yourself, maybe your family, maybe your closest circle of friends and stuff, because you're different now.
Yeah.
And everyone's going to say, oh, look, Mike's doing this thing now. Mike's this person now. Mike's a minimalist. He's getting rid of all of his stuff now.
Yeah.
So, but, it's not for any aesthetic thing or to make a statement. I mean, it is a rebellion against materialism because I think people put too much value in the stuff that they own.
Yeah.
But they got to realize at some point it owns them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's you lose if stuff owns you, you have no control.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And more stuff, more problems.
Yeah. Yes.
That's
true.
Space is such a grace, man. Space is a saving grace.
Yeah. And it's why it's so hard sometimes to get rid of some stuff.
Yeah. Oh, exactly, man. And minimalism's not about, and it could be. I was watching a couple of videos on people why I quit extreme minimalism and stuff like that. I saw a few videos like that. I always like to get the opposite side of things.
Yeah.
And for some people, and they had a very valid point. They get neurotic because they start to make this spreadsheet over how few things they could have. They turn it into this extreme game. Okay, I want to have as little things as possible. I admit to myself I could never do that.
No.
Because things that I enjoy, I do have a lot of.
Yeah.
I have a lot of running sandals. I have instruments. I'm not going to get rid of them.
You cannot go against what it is to be human.
Right. Exactly.
And I think when you start counting things anyway, like if you try to stop drinking alcohol,
right,
and you count days,
right,
you're still a drinker.
Yes, exactly.
You're just a drinker counting days of not drinking alcohol.
Right.
But you're not becoming someone who's like, well, this is not who I am anymore, so I'm not drinking anymore.
Right.
So you really forget about
You haven't changed your identity yet. Yeah. You haven't fixed the B yet to a new B. Mm-hmm. And as
that's why like the dry January just makes zero sense to me.
The what doesn't make sense?
The January dry.
Yeah.
Is that how it's called?
Sorry,
January dry? January?
Oh, January?
Yeah.
Dry where you don't drink. Oh, I'm sorry, where you don't drink.
Yeah.
Maybe it is. I don't know. I've never heard of it. But sober October. I don't know. I just
it's something like that. Yeah.
But you are very right though, and it's good for the sense of pride to like count days a little bit. Oh, it's been several months since I've drank this bad habit.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, you just got to get the number out of your head.
Yeah.
And just, this is my new life. This is what I do. It's not be, don't, have. You got to replace the don't with a do. Honestly, so yeah, I don't procrastinate anymore. I go for a little run and I meditate.
Yeah.
It's like, you got to swap it out with a do. So it does, and pride is very important. I think being proud of accomplishments and stuff it feels great. Mm-hmm. And especially for something you work hard on. If you're someone who quit drinking, it feels amazing when you're like, I haven't drank in a year. Mm-hmm.
Sure.
But if you're counting 429 days, you wake up 430 days. It's like, dude, okay, that's getting weird. It's like you can't obsess over it every day like that.
Exactly. I think it's a good way to use to track it and create the momentum for it.
Yes.
But at some time you gotta be like, okay.
Yeah.
Don't count every day for over
Yeah.
I think over 60 or 90 days, at some point, you'll be like, okay, cool, give it up.
Yes, once you get deep in the triple digits, it's like, forget about the number. You can set a little counter. There's all these apps that count the days for you.
Yeah.
But, look at that, very rare occasionally.
It does help at first.
Definitely. Yeah, exactly.
It's true. When you actually visually see, if you put a cross on, check the boxes.
Yes.
And then it helps a lot for tracking. The progression and keeps you motivated to do it.
Here's a good one on that. Yeah, you can do X's. Anything on a calendar. Let's say you're trying to develop a new habit, or you're trying to quit a bad habit. Is I do kind of these half circles and stuff. So you're making chains. So anytime,
that's great.
Yeah, and it's a visually beautiful thing because you got this chain for this line, all 4 lines, and anytime that you break one of them,
I dig that.
You have to break the chain. How painful is that?
It's amazing.
Yeah. So, that's good. And you're exactly right. The visual side of it is really, really good. We're very visual, species, human being. It's very visual. So it feels great to see the 90-day mark on something, even 120, 150.
Yeah.
But then, after 300 or 400, it's like, okay, relax.
Yeah.
Go focus on something else now.
Yeah.
You're not that person anymore. You don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
You're 3 years into it. You're good.
Yeah, you're good. It's a way for you to forget about the past.
Yes.
Because in a way, you still attached to the past when you count the days.
Right, exactly.
And that's one thing that people have a hard time to do, is to forget about the past. And will not help with Facebook or Instagram that just remind us from the past.
That's what it is.
So often it's unhealthy.
Very toxic in that.
So toxic to keep yourself in the present moment. Again, when we were talking about earlier, where you only do the right things when you are in the present moments.
Yes.
If you are thinking about the past or stressing about the future, you're not being able to construct anything positive for your life, basically.
Right, exactly. Facebook is like a glamorized photo album kind of a thing. And, it's nice to get together with friends and oh my gosh, look at this was from 20 years ago. Look how funny. Oh my God, remember that guy? Remember that girl? But you can't do that every day.
You can do it once or twice a year.
Yeah, exactly.
And celebrate it.
Celebrate it.
Have fun about it.
And do it socially too.
Do it socially.
Don't just look at it every day. It's weird to look at a photo album every day by yourself. Why would you do that with Facebook?
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but hey, there's a lot of emotional attachment to the past.
Yeah.
So it's very, very hard, to stay present moment because of that.
Yeah.
And on the opposite end of the spectrum is worrying about the future all the time and stuff. And it's good to be ambitious about, I want to be exponentially better 10 years from now. I want to do some great stuff.
Yeah.
But focus on the present more than that, I would say, because you could even smash that expectation earlier.
100%. Yeah.
And that's why the present moment is better.
Yeah.
You know, if you focus on it with low expectations, you just keep coming back.
That's the only thing that exists in a way.
Exactly.
So it makes zero sense to focus on the past or the future.
Yeah. And it's great because now if you have like a couple like routine things that you do and you've built that comfort of like coming back to your rituals and stuff, you're excited every morning to do it. If you have a good morning routine where you do, you know, I'm excited to drink warm lemon water now. Thank you for that, man.
Awesome.
It's been like 5 days so far.
Wow.
You know, yeah. And I also do a couple other things. I do like ab knee raises and stuff. I do it standing up and stuff like that. And quite a qigong kind of things, you know, movement.
Yeah. I mean, you need to move.
Yes.
Number one thing I do when I'm boiling the water, I do cat-cow.
Yeah.
Just to wake up my spine, just get the, you know, get the fluid going through, you know, the back.
Loosen up your muscles and tendons. And, you know, and when you drink water, man, it like lubricates your joints.
Yeah.
So it's like, your whole body is like
So how do you feel after like drinking the hot water and lemon in it?
I feel really good.
Yeah.
I absolutely, you know, it definitely wakes up your digestion, you know, your digestive system and stuff. And, you know, very, very healthy for all of that right there. But I feel like, you know, okay, I don't need to go back to bed and sit for another couple minutes. I don't even, like, with drinking some warm water and just stimulating your mind like that, I don't feel like I need to procrastinate so much. I don't need to go back to my phone and sit and look at videos or anything like that. It's like, okay, I'm good. My needs are met.
Needs are met, and your emotions are not alive much.
Right.
They don't really. Your brain doesn't trigger so much emotions on your body.
Right.
Just because you're calming yourself down and you're trying to do things right away without any intentions.
Absolutely.
Or in the mindset of not being present in the moments.
Right.
Because so many people, I could see that, you know, if you have like a relationship with someone, I saw that so many times, like girlfriends would just like get up and do things right away.
Right.
You're like, oh, I'm gonna prepare this and that and this. And to me, it was like, you're just thinking of one thing. You're doing one thing, thinking of the next thing you're about to do.
Yeah, it's terrible.
So you're doing this thing, so I'm gonna be doing this thing, and then I'm gonna be doing this thing, so I can be doing this thing, and so on.
Yeah.
It's like, what about sitting down and then focus and feel what's inside?
I'm certainly guilty of that in the past, because if there was like a camera on me from like, you know, the moment I wake up, it would be really weird to see, because I'd almost be like pacing around, going from this room, forgetting what I was going to do, you know, just this weird, like, and I had no consciousness as I was going through it, just like walking around,
and after
thinking, like getting distracted,
30
not doing
to 60
anything.
minutes after, you set the momentum, you set the tone of your day. That's it.
Right.
You're gonna be doing your entire day.
Yeah.
You know, don't stop.
I think it's really powerful to make sure you get that warm water and lemon in the morning too, because we're very dehydrated when we wake up, and our minds do not work at full function.
No.
When we're first thing in the morning,
you get more stressed.
You get more stressed, man. You're all dried out inside. You know, we're made of mostly water, and we're, you know, dehydrated severely when we wake up. So it's really important to like make sure, okay, that's your first step.
Yeah.
You know, get that done, move around a bit, get the water in your system, get the motion going, and then do what you have to do. You know, get your morning routine on the way.
Yeah.
Clean your place a bit, get your exercises done, reply to your emails. And here's another reason why, you know, being dehydrated and not drinking water is all, on an emotional level. You know, if you go right to your phone and you reply to emails and texts and stuff while you're like really dehydrated and you're not mentally, you know, at your best, you could send off some pretty rude emails and just like be like, whoa, that was, oh yeah, sorry, I sent all that when I first woke up.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, yeah, you gotta, there's an order to these things.
Yeah.
And you can't do things
Yeah.
while you're still in this grumpy or depressed, even kind of weird mind state.
Now you gotta take care of your inner self in your inside your body. What's happening? You gotta take care of what's happening inside.
Yep.
So you can react accordingly to the outside world.
Yeah, exactly.
And then that's why you should never let the outside world feed your mind before you took care of it within.
Right. Yeah, never. Because even if the world outside of you is giving you all of its greatest, all of its best, you are not functioning at a good enough state.
Yeah.
You have to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
There's so many distractions in the world. It's so easy to get distracted by anything, and sitting in front of a screen will certainly do that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask a question to everyone listening. What is one thing you're going to do to help yourself become less distracted? You don't have to be as extreme as me and completely get rid of a television unless you want to. But what is something that you're going to do to be less distracted in the world filled with distractions?
Yeah.
And how do you think that's going to benefit you?
Yeah.
How do you think? What do you think that's going to do for you?
Yeah. If you have any things that you already do, maybe you can also share with us in the comment section below, and then so that can also give some insight to other people who are watching. And
exactly.
then,
we'll learn from you guys as well.
Yeah. So let's ponder on that, and then think about this, and then we'll come back next week maybe with some thoughts about this, and then
sounds like a plan. There. Thank you all so much for listening and for watching, and we hope to see you in the next video. And have a blessed week. Have a wonderful week. Catch you next time.
Peace out, guys.
Peace.